The question I get a lot is, can I fix my chronic fatigue or brain fog if I just sleep more? Or I cut the caffeine, or I take another brain supplement? And I understand why you would ask that. When your thinking feels thick and when your energy has just hit rock bottom, it feels like that's the problem. It feels personal. It feels broken. The short answer is, well, those they certainly can help a little bit, but also no, because you're looking for a real fix, right? Not another band-aid approach just to make another week before you crash out again. I feel your frustration. For 20 years in clinic, I've sat with people who've done the right thing and they've helped their mitochondria with nutrition, but the fog and the low energy still come back. And this is my real take-home message, and I hope I can share it in this video. Chronic fatigue treatment and all the associated symptoms often has to start lower than you think. It's not in your head, in your mouth, at the very first station of digestion. So let me show you what I mean. We're going to walk through the first step of what I call the energy gut journey. Nice and simple, one station, then you'll know exactly what to try first. So here's a story I want you to hold. Imagine someone who eats clean. It might be you. Good protein, vegetables, maybe a smoothie in the morning because life is busy. They sit down or they stand at the kitchen bench and the meal is gone in 5 or 6 minutes. A few big swigs of the drink or the water, a few big swallows, and job is done, on with the day. Then by 10:30, the brain fog and energy crash rolls in. Fatigue sits behind your eyes. By 2 in the afternoon, you feel like you've already lived a full day, and you might blame sleep. They might blame stress. They blame fibromyalgia, the labels, chronic fatigue. Sometimes all of that is part of the big picture, but something else is sitting quietly in front of them. They never actually started digestion. It was too rushed. Everything starts in the gut, and the gut does not start in the stomach. It starts in the mouth. So let's talk about the first station. When you chew, you're not just breaking food down into smaller bits so it fits into your tube and swallow it. Your saliva has enzymes in it. One of the main ones begins the work on the starches in the mouth before the food even leaves your mouth. Your tongue, your teeth, they send signals, that chewing action. Your nervous system gets a message. Food is here. Prepare the process downstairs. Stomach acid starts to rise. Digestive juices get ready. Blood flow shifts towards digestion. It's a big process. If you skip that, if you gulp, if you're focused on other things, if you drink a lot of water during meals, if you eat while you're in that fight or flight from emails coming in, looking at the phone, your mind's being on something else and the signal never fully fires. Your stomach still tries, of course. The small intestine still tries, but they're working without the warm-up. And when digestion is incomplete, higher up, you can end up with fermentation in the stomach, causing acid reflux or bloating like SIBO, less clean fuel for your cells because you're not going to absorb them, and that heavy, cloudy head that so many people with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia know too well. Think of it like a campfire. You stack wood perfectly. You're making a fire, dry wood, good structure, everything you need for heat later. But without the match is the key, you would have a cold pile of wood. You can't cook the food in the night. Nothing will burn. It doesn't do the job. And that's what chewing is. Chewing is striking that first match. Saliva is that first flame catching, and that station one doing the real job, not breaking food down smaller, but lighting the signal so the rest of digestion can actually begin and work. Skip that super important step. Swallow too fast. Drink the whole meal down. And every station further down the energy gut journey is trying to work over a fire that never actually properly started. The stomach still tries. The small intestine still tries, but they don't function at optimal potential. Is that you? Is that what you're doing? Is that the only cause of your fatigue or brain fog, feeling like you hit rock bottom? Of course not. It's not the only thing. Your body is one beautiful system working in unison. There is, of course, the nutrition, the core nutrition, but if you aren't absorbing it, it's wasted. There's also hormones, but if you aren't making them properly from the food source, or you're not using them properly, you will still be stuck at step one. Your whole system works together to give you energy and clarity. But this first station is where almost every recovery plan should begin. It's got to begin at the very start because it costs nothing as well, and it's under your control today, and it changes the conditions for everything that follows. Now, let's put our detective hats on. If fog and fatigue keep coming back, I don't only ask what pill are you missing, I ask what conditions are you living in that keep that first station offline. Try this as a checklist with me. Do you swallow food in fewer than 10 chews? Do most of your meals start as a drink or a shake? Do you eat standing, driving, or scrolling on your phone? Is your mouth often dry from stress, medication, or mouth breathing at night? Do you feel gassy or heavy 30 to 60 minutes after eating? Like the meal never actually moved out of your stomach? None of these mean that you've failed. They mean that unhelpful conditions are still open. And like any good detective work, once you can see the conditions, you can change them. So here are the practical parts that I want you to learn. Gentle, simple, no drama. Try this for 7 days. Before the first bite of any real meal, put the fork down for one slow breath. Not a big meditation production, just a breath that tells your body we're safe enough to digest now and we're going to start eating. Then chew, really chew. Aim for about 20 soft chews on each mouthful before you swallow. If 20 feels like a mountain, start with 15. Then the numbers don't really matter, less than the intention, just focusing on chewing. You're turning the key to get the whole digestive system to work. If you love smoothies, keep them. Don't just let them replace every single meal and have that liquid meal without chewing. When you have blended your drink and you're just drinking, sip it slowly, swish it a little in your mouth. Give the mouth a job. Let the digestion signal fire. And try this with water. Sip between bites if you really need to, but also washing food down with a big gulp of water, it's not the way. It's diluting that saliva and the enzymes you need. I'm not promising that chewing will cure fibromyalgia or erase 20 years of complex illness in a week. That would be another empty promise, and you've heard enough of those. What I can give you is hope, and that's honest. When the first station starts working again, many people notice the afternoon crash softens. The burping settles. The head feels like a little less padded and foggy. Not cured, but clearer. And clearer is a beginning, and it's a step forward. Because brain fog treatment is not only about forcing the brain harder. Sometimes it's about feeding the body in a way the body can actually receive. This is the bigger picture approach, multimodality, not one hero fix, not one pill for a problem. A chain, and a chain link only works when the first link holds and links together. If your system is already under stress from chronic fatigue or fibromyalgia from years of pushing and crashing, you don't want to fix it by piling more wood on the fire. That just hasn't fixed the problem at the core. Your support is the first spark. Your warmth, it's helping the system work. You let each station do its job. So station 1 is the mouth. Chew, signal, prepare. In the next video on this energy gut journey, we walk into station 2, the stomach. This is where we talk about protein digestion and breakdown and why so many tired, foggy, bloated people are told their problem is too much acid when the real story is often complicated and much more complicated than that. If the first station resonated, stay with me with this series. Continue on with the next video, and I will see you there.